everybody, welcome back to the Claremont Classic Garage. We've been to the auction and grabbed a little piece of equipment and I'd like to show it to you. This here is an old DR Power Equipment driveway grader. I can remember seeing these on TV when we first moved up here and thinking, hey, that's a cool thing, I should get one. But they were expensive, you know, and money was a little tighter then. And, well, this one popped up at the auction. So we grabbed it. Now, it ain't perfect. There's stuff missing, namely the manuals, and I don't know why. There doesn't seem to be any tag or label or anything like with a model number or anything on it. So I might have to take a couple of pictures of it and get a hold of DR themselves and see if they can fix me up with a manual. That being, oh, look at that. That's a nice old bike. Wow. Or it could be new. It could be one of those Enfields or something, you know. You never know anymore. So anyway, you can see here it's got a battery. It's got a battery, and originally it would have had this here. There's two connections. This one here goes up to our linear actuator. So that's how you adjust the angle of attack of this thing, is with this linear actuator. This would have gone to a remote mounted switch on the tractor. And this here, these are your power cords that go here to the battery. So what we'll do is probably, if I'm going to keep this thing, I'll be running it on the back of my Kubota. So I will pull this thing off. I have to extend it all the way and see what its stroke is, and I'll replace that with a hydraulic cylinder and just run it off my rear remote on the tractor. But for now, we're going to check this battery out, see if it's any good, if it's alive, dead, if it'll take a charge, whatever's going on, and we can doink around with it. I can make a little harness to go up to the tractor for now with a temporary switch. Well, the battery's good, so let's hook up a few wires here, try and figure out what we got going, and see if we can get this thing to move. First thing we're going to do is hook these up. I would guess they even look the right lengths to go to the battery, so we'll get them hooked up and go from there. Now you can see here, it's got some kind of a little circuit board here with a couple of relays impregnated into it. And I'm not sure if these are the power into the thing or if these are charge cables. It's a little strange. It looks like these were probably the original hookups for this. You can see how they're busted off. And then these were put on by somebody else. So, I don't know. All we can do is try it this way and see what happens. If it blows up, it blows up. Like I said, we're converting it to hydraulic anyway. I tried hooking direct up to the linear actuator, and all I get is a bunch of sparking and no action. So this thing is probably seized. So we're going to open it up and see if we can see anything wrong with it. It's got a bunch of screws holding it together. And it also has a number on the end of it. So worst case, I can look up a replacement, a suitable hydraulic cylinder to replace it. Well, we can see here the linear actuator was filled with water. I hooked a motor. You can see here it's got this little circuit board with diodes. I hooked the motor up directly to the battery and it turns both ways. So now what we need to do is try hooking it up here. I think it's got to have a combination of these switches. Those are the limit switches that stop it when it gets to either end of its travel. So I have to try and figure out how that all plays into it. All right, I finally got this thing working again. So now we got to clean out all these bores because the pins were seized. We'll clean up the pins and everything, put it all back together. Then we can at least run it with the battery and see what the heck it does. I managed to do a little reading when I was in the house and found out that this thing had like a little control box with a harness that went up to the tractor, and I would guess it would have some kind of a magnetic attachment, so you would stick it on the fender or something. Because when they designed this piece of equipment, they don't know what the heck you're going to be towing it with. You know, a couple of dogs, your ATV, it could be anything. So they gave it its own self-contained electrical system. This battery, of course, you would need to charge it. But anyway, our Kubota, which we're going to be using this with, it's too big to pull with my little John Deere. It's got a proper, robust electrical system. So we will be just putting I figured out how to rig it up with a double pull, double throw toggle switch. I could, like I mentioned earlier, if I wanted to, convert this thing to hydraulic. I looked up the cylinder already, but by the time I buy the cylinder, hoses, fittings, blah, 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 it's going to be almost $300 worth of stuff. And I can do this pretty much for free. I got to buy a switch. I ordered the switch. It's like $20 for a 30 amp double pull, double throw switch and wire I've got. So once that shows up, we'll get this thing rigged up and try it out. I've got a wire attached to the linear actuator here. You can see where it used to go through this clamp, this P-clamp here. So we ran it through there. And I've got it tied to the A-frame here and up through the tongue. I've brought it out here. I'm not sure if it's going to stay like that. If it looks like it's going to get pinched or cut by the tow bar, we'll move it back. Maybe bring it out through one of these holes here. Time will tell. So for now, what we got is we have to get it up. We have to leave just enough here so that we can fish it up into the tractor. And I'll put a plug back here somewhere. And we're going to mount our switch probably right here on this plastic thing. So I can get at it easily while I'm working the machine. We'll go ahead and pull these knobs off, take a few bolts out from underneath. This plastic bezel will come off and we can get our switch mounted in it. So there's two ways that you'll find DC motors being reversible. One is a 3-wire motor, and that is the simplest, where it's got a common in the middle and you feed power to either this one or that one to make it turn either way. The motor on this thing is a 2-wire. So you have to completely reverse the polarity of both conductors to make it switch directions. So we do that with a double pull, double throw switch. So the power comes in here and it will get grounded there. What we do is, these are the 2 conductors going out to the motor. And then I've got little ones spliced together with them that cross it over. So, the white one there has got a black one spliced into it that comes to this side. And the black one has got a white one spliced into it that comes to that side. And that will release the polarity of the motor. Or I'm pretty sure it will. We'll get it in and find out. There we go. I got the switch installed. For power, we just went over here. I've already got a 14 gauge power line coming back here for these 2 little LED lights on the back. So we took the power from there. The linear actuator doesn't really use all that much power, so that'll be just fine. Now we can put this thing together. We have to terminate the ground wire. There's a ground stud under the fender here. And we need to put a connector so we can connect these 2 together, and we should be all set. Switch even came with a weatherproof little booty. How do you beat that? 4 of them for $18 on Amazon. All right, before I put connectors on this, I just want to try it out and see if it's actually going to work. So we'll put the ignition on. All right, no fire, no smoke. Let's see what happens. Oh! There it goes. So it's going down. Let's see if it goes back up. Wow. I've impressed myself with this one. Look at that. Hey, a graduate of the Toronto Transit Commission Part 2 Vehicle Electricians Program. Ha ha! I have been successful. I figured out how to hook up a switch. Oh, well, that is great. So now what we're going to do is we're going to get these wires shortened up to acceptable lengths. I'm going to get like some kind of a quick connect plug on it, and we'll take this thing outside and try it. Well, let's see what this thing does. It does do a pretty nice job. Let me go back and forth a few times to see what we get. Oh, you can see it's doing a pretty good job. I'm getting the hang of using it. I can actually turn it around once. I don't have to. It's pretty good. I like it. It is kind of dusty. I should maybe do this when it's been raining or in the morning when the dew is on the ground. Well, we can see here the thing did a great job cleaning up this driveway. This was all weeds all down the middle. They're all gone. It pulled them all out. They're all in a big pile over there. As I keep using it, more and more of these weeds will start getting pulled out. And a lot of the weeds over there in front of the house are going to get pulled out. Whoa. That is a nice old Suburban. Yeah, I'm very happy with the thing. I think, next time I've got it out, I'm going to shorten up the tongue a bit. It'll cut down greatly on my turnaround radius at the ends. The tongue on it right now is way longer than it needs to be. So that went great. I wasn't sure when I bought the thing. I didn't pay a king's ransom for it, but I paid for it. So I thought, well, I came up with a number that I figured if it didn't work out, I could probably get out of it for, at least break even, maybe not, maybe only lose a little bit. But I'm quite happy with the thing. It works pretty well. There's also supposed to be a weight box that sits on top of it. There's two little cross members with pins on them, and there should be a little weight box that sits on there. But I'm going to measure it up. I think I may be able to get away with just a patio slab or two and drill down through them and just sit the slabs over those pins, and it should work just fine. It could use a little weight on it. It was kind of bouncing around a little bit when I was using it, but aside from that, it works really well. And I think if I do decide to keep it, I gotta just watch a sale. And I will buy a hydraulic ram and convert it to hydraulic. It would cycle a lot faster. That linear actuator, you pull the switch and you sit there and you sit there and you sit there. And you're not really setting it in the middle anywhere. It's either all the way down or all the way up. So you don't even have to look. If it was converted to hydraulic, you would just get to the end of your row, grab the stick and just go boink for half a second and it would come up. So I'm pretty sure I'm going to convert it to hydraulic. But for now, electric, it works, It's great. Anyway, so that is something that I have in the house, a list of things I've always wanted. And that is one thing I could cross off my list. A DR power equipment driveway grader. So cool. Anyway, I got to take off now. Thanks for tuning in. Hope you'll come back and see us again. And until then, this is Kevin saying so long from the Claremont Classic Garage.